I believe, is next.
All righty, here he is.
Recording in progress.
Sir, can you give me your name and DOC number, please?
Sean MURDOCK, 293-007.
All right, Mr. Murdoch, my name's Mr. Deglow. With me today are my colleagues, Mr. Hilbig and Ms. Fields. We're the three-person panel that's going to make a decision in your parole eligibility matter today. I think previously you probably saw a board of two. Law changed and requires us to work in groups of three now. And we'll make sure you can see, hear, and understand me clearly.
Yes, sir.
All right, if at any point you cannot, I just want you to acknowledge it and I'll try to fix whatever the issue is. Mr. Murdoch, we have a lot of information about you, whether it's in our computers or on personal notes. I say that for two reasons. First, I want you to be honest with us because we have a lot of information about you. And if you tend to be deceptive, that won't be appreciated and we'll probably have to make a decision that's not what you'd like. And also, I want to make sure that you are aware that we may not always be looking at you. There's other information that we'll be reviewing other than looking at you in the face. We'll be looking at the computer and things of that nature. Okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to go through your resident record card, Mr. Murdoch. I believe the last time you were before the board, you got a 9-month deferment. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what did that last board ask you to do, Mr. Murdoch?
Must complete SAP, graduate SAP in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I've been trying to stay out the way and just keep my head clear so I can get back home.
Yep, keep yourself out of trouble. So you've entered the SAP. Looks like you started. You should be ending around February the 13th. So good on you for that. I appreciate that. I'm going to read through the rest of your resident record card while we got you here to ensure that the information is correct. If it's not correct, I want you to tell me when we're done, okay? I've got you down as Deshaun Murdoch. You're currently at Little Sandy, 26 years old, serving a 15-year custody term, of which you've done about 10 years, 1 month. You got about 3 years, 9 months remaining. You're in custody for assault, first degree, which is a violent crime, tampering with physical evidence, possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, tampering with physical evidence, promoting contraband, first degree, and possession of a controlled substance, second degree, narcotic, opiate, while you were in possession of a firearm. Again, you've done about 10 years on that time. You got about 3-9 left. Does look like this matter originated at one point as shock probation. You got that shock probation revoked, and you were on parole up until May of 24. You'd been released on January 24. So you managed to stay out 4 months. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you got a pending detainer for persistent felony offender, possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, tampering with physical evidence, trafficking in a controlled substance, methamphetamine, 2 or more greater grams, trafficking in a controlled substance, fentanyl, and assault in the first degree. I'm going to come back to that. You've got restorable good time loss of 336 days, and you got meritorious good time loss of 252 days. So that's not what we like to see. I do want to ask you, I don't want you to admit guilt or profess your innocence, either one, as to the pending charges. I just want to know exactly what the contentions are. What are they saying you did wrong outside of the charges themselves? There's an assault in the first degree charge that concerns me a great deal. What is the prosecutor saying that you did?
Well, they not saying I did any. They saying I fit the description of somebody, but the victim told them it was somebody else. So they held me because I fit the description of the person who they said, but he didn't say my name.
What did they say that person did? Whoever it is, what did they say that person did?
They said he shot somebody named, Brandon or whatever case maybe. I was sitting at home when they came and got me.
Again, I don't want you to talk about whether you're guilty or innocent. I just want you to tell me what they say you did, okay?
They supposedly said I shot somebody.
Okay. And then there's a trafficking of controlled substance, fentanyl. There's an allegation that you trafficked in fentanyl. Did they tell you how much or how frequently or anything of that nature? Okay. And then they say also that you had a possession of a gun by a convicted felon. So those are very serious matters. You're not guilty of them by any means, but those are things we have to consider as well. So you had shock probation on the original matters, and you lost that shock probation. Why were you revoked off shock probation?
They got caught with a handgun and some pills.
Pill and handgun, and then that led to the second indictment against you and the convictions for the possession of the gun and the possession of opiates. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in that first assault in the first degree, the one from 2014 for which you are convicted, do you want to tell me what you did?
I shot somebody.
All right. Who did you shoot? Why did you shoot them? How badly were they hurt? When did you shoot them?
We had a altercation, and it led up to some deeper than that, and it was one of those. I got a real bad temper problem. So when somebody's talking to me a certain type of way, I kind of lose my head. And I admit when I'm wrong. I could have went about it a different way. I could have, we
I
could have
still
talked
want to know.
about it.
Okay, you're getting off track a little bit for me. Who was the person that you shot? What was the altercation about? And how badly was this person hurt?
His name was Kenny. His name was Kenny McCall. I shot him in his leg, and it was we weren't seeing that eye. I know it was wrong. I shouldn't have shot him, but
What was the friction over? Why are you in a bad way with Kenny?
street normal street stuff.
Well, like what? I'm not living in the same street you're living at because nobody's
Well,
shooting rounds
so
around my
like
place right now. So what's the normal
words
street
being
stuff you're talking
exchanged,
about?
words being exchanged.
All right. So that's what it was, just words being exchanged rather than this is not an ongoing where y'all been in a physical altercation prior
Now
where
we
you
never
beat up.
fought. It was just words being exchanged. I said something to him, he said something to me, and it just went left.
Okay. Both of you had guns on at the time?
No, I had my gun.
Okay. And because he said something to you, you shot him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So you shot a guy for having words with him, and then you've got oh, 1 second, I'm looking through the rest of it. And then I assume you threw the gun away or something before the police got there, and that's why they had tampering with physical evidence. Is that right?
They called me like 2 weeks later.
All
They
right.
came and got me from school. I
All
was
right.
in school in class when they came and got me.
Were you a juvenile at the time of this offense?
Yes, I was 14 years old.
14. All right. So you get that conviction and you're out on parole at some point into 2017 and you pick up well, actually you're out on shock probation. It lets you have shock probation. Then you get out and you have another conviction, and that's possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, tampering with physical evidence, promoting contraband first, and opioids. You want to tell me about that event, sir?
Well, I was taking the opioids. I was popping the pills. I'm not gonna lie. And after I did what I did, I was kind of really scared for my life, not knowing what he was gonna do. But I did have a gun on me at the time.
Who
And
are you talking about not knowing what who's going to do?
uh, what Kenny McCall was gonna do to me after I shot him,
Oh,
I
so
didn't
you're
know.
packing a gun some 3 years later because of Kenny McCauley still?
I didn't know if he was gonna try to retaliate or what he was gonna do.
So, but back in 14, you had a gun on you. You shoot the man, and then 3 years later, you're still reportedly carrying a gun because you're worried about Kenny McCauley. Is that right?
That's right.
So is Mr. McCauley threatened you between the incident in 2014 to 2017?
We had some words again.
All right. All right. So apparently you brought some drugs into the jail because you're promoting contraband. Did you have something on you when you came into the jail on this arrest for the gun?
No, I ain't get caught with no drugs in the jail.
What did you have the contraband? What was your contraband? What'd you bring into the jail?
They said I when they did a shakedown or whatever, they found a knife.
Oh, for some reason I was thinking of something else. Hold on 1 second. Let me double check that. Shank in his sock. All right. All right. So it wasn't at the same time. So you had the pills on you as well, the Percocet pills. You selling those pills?
I was taking those,
Taking those pills, did you have an injury that required those pills, or you just taking them for the buzz or the whatever it is?
just taking them for the buzz.
All right. And you had a gun on you at that point as well, which was against your prior shock probation. And then you had a shank on you while you were in custody. Why did you have a shank on you in your socks, or while you were in custody?
I was running into a whole lot of problems due to me being from out of town and me doing what I did to him. He has a lot of family members that was locked up with me, and I didn't have the best time in her. I'm not gonna lie, I was constantly getting fighting, getting jumped, and
So
I
some
just felt like I had to protect myself at the time. I'm saying it wasn't the smartest idea, it wasn't the brightest idea at all, but I just had a hard time.
right. So some 4 years later, or whatever, 5 years later, Kenny McCall is still haunting you. Is that right?
Yeah,
Kenny McCall is still haunting you to this day.
I ain't heard from him.
So, but yet, so since the 2017 convictions, looked like it happened in 2018 was conviction. You've not heard from Mr. McCauley since then? You think that matter's settled?
And I'm staying away from him. He stay away from me.
Well, that's what it should have happened before when you were on shock probation, but it didn't. And that's why you were carrying a gun. I asked this because I'm worried about you carrying a gun in the future and telling me Kenny McCauley's still after you.
And that was back then. This is now. Like the way I used to move, I don't no longer move like that no more. Like I don't even be around people. If it's not my family members, I'm not even coming around you. I don't even want you around me.
So when you say move, what I'm
Like
not
the way I
okay.
operate, the way I carry myself, like the way the people I surround myself around, I no longer be around those people no more. Like I no longer go around those crowd of people, so I'm not gonna put myself in those type of situations.
Okay. So in January of 2024, we allow you the privilege of parole. And by
Yes.
May of 24, you're already back in. You want to tell
Mhm.
me what you did?
I didn't do nothing.
So they revoked you for no particular reason?
They revoked me because I pissed dirty for marijuana. Yes, I was smoking weed on parole.
Okay, I thought you said you did nothing. The rules tell you not to do any marijuana use.
You're not supposed to be doing no type of drugs on parole, and I know that. But parole, I mean marijuana, it keeps me. I was smoking it. Yeah, I did what I did. I was smoking marijuana, but I used marijuana to keep me calm. I got real bad anxiety, and I just did 10 years flat in prison as a juvenile, from a juvenile to adult. So like my anxiety, when I get around certain people, I tend to, you might not know I'm going through it, but in my head, I'm going through. So I be thinking everybody's out to get me. I don't. It's just what I can't be around a crowd of people. I'm not. I wasn't used to being around people for so long. I've been confined for so long as a child. When I finally got back to the real world, everything was just like my levels was like this. I couldn't. I had to keep something to keep me calm, keep me
Okay.
relaxed.
Understand they make legal stuff that can keep you calm too, though. They make medication and there's therapy for that kind of stuff. Did you chose to take the marijuana instead of the mental health medication, or why did you do that?
That's just what I always was used to keep you calm, to calm you down with marijuana. I'm saying, yeah, they got different medications for mental health, but marijuana is also used for behavior issues. It helps you with anxiety, it helps you with pain, it helps you with all types of things.
Okay.
But I
So
shouldn't be
so
smoking it.
right. So we don't need you creating your own rules
No,
while you're on paper. So here's the thing. the marijuana that you're using is against your rules. Absolutely. You know right from wrong, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So they tell you don't use marijuana, you use marijuana because you set your own rules, and now you're back in custody over marijuana use. You gave up how much of your life, sir?
Altogether, I say about 10.5 years.
Right. Just off the marijuana of recent, you had to serve 9 months on the
Yeah, 9 months.
How
9
many?
months.
9 months.
9 months.
So smoking weed worth your 9 months in custody?
No, it's not. And I actually, I learned to deal. I learned to cope with that in South. Like you got choices in life. Is you gonna do this? Or you gonna do that? Like if you want to do better, it got to start with you.
Right.
You don't need no drug to. You don't need no drug to go about everyday life. You don't need no drug to keep you calm. It starts with you. You don't need no medication to keep you calm at all. Period. Though. Like if you don't want to have an episode, you're not gonna have an episode. It's different ways you can channel your anger. You can go work out. You can go run. You can write music. You can write in your notepad. It's all types of different little things you can do.
Was that your only was that your only violation? Not that it's only. Were there other violations other than you smoking marijuana?
No,
All
they
right.
just sent me back because I was pissed dirty from marijuana.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably did that, but I'm betting they had more of a concern over the new charges you picked up. That would
They
be
didn't
my guess.
they didn't
Although
bring
they're
it up.
allegations and you're not convicted of them, my guess is although your crimes prior are pretty serious too, they probably did not appreciate you violating any of the rules when the rules were there for you to help you and to make sure you can stay out in the community and be a good person, man, and not be a danger to everybody else in the community. So that the marijuana. So how many times you smoke weed while you're on paper?
Mm, or like
Roughly.
once, yeah, like every once in a while when I
All right.
really get overwhelmed with life.
Understood. Understood. How long did you weren't out very long, right? You were only out a few months. How soon after your release on parole did you start using marijuana?
Probably to like the third month.
Okay. What can you do different, man? I understand what you're saying is you need the marijuana for to calm down, anti-anxiety.
I like music. Like that's like a big therapy for me. Like without it's like I can express myself without somebody cutting me off and trying to judge me for what I'm saying. As long as I can make music and write music, it's like I don't need nothing else because it helps me express how I'm really feeling.
Okay. Can you do that without smoking weed?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I know a lot of people that can. I mean, I know a
Yeah,
lot of people that do go in the studio and they light up as soon as they get in there because they think it frees their mind. You understand why you're on parole, that's not going to be a good option for you. Is that
I understand
right?
that. I don't know. It's just like that's all I've been wanting to do since I was young. I grew up wanting to do music.
So tell me about your mental health, sir.
Me, honestly, I got my days, but I'm learning to like channel that in different ways. Like when I feel like I'm finna have an episode, I'll remove myself and go somewhere quiet and I'll pray or I'll write music or go work out. My mental health though it's all right for the most part. I've been doing better than I thought I would be doing coming back, but I've been
Okay.
doing all right.
So you're in SAP right now, is that right? Are you waiting on SAP? Let me look at my notes on that. Where are you with that SAP program?
I graduate in 2 weeks.
That's right. And what have you learned in there that can help you back on the street?
You just gotta take it one day at a time. Ain't nothing gonna never come overnight. You know, drugs is not the way to go to deal with your issues at all. Anger is not a way to deal with your issues at all. Like your thinking process can't always revolve around drugs and violence and all the bad things he was doing. Like it got to get better.
So I mean, at this point, you should have a relapse prevention plan, right?
Yeah,
You want to talk to me about your plan?
I plan on. I'm not gonna lie. I plan
Not
on
your release plan, not your plan to the community. I want to hear your relapse prevention plan. What's going to prevent you from going back to drug use?
staying away from people who do it. If you're doing drugs, I'm not even gonna come around you because it's a trigger.
All right, that's a pretty simple one. I think usually they ask you to get more involved than just people, places, and things. You tell me how you're going to prevent your relapse.
It's not go around people who doing it, basically. I'm saying change my locations. Just try to stay
I
focused.
think there's a
Get
lot more to it than that. And I think they probably have addressed some of that with you. I don't know where your notes
go
are
to
on that, but you might want to go back and review your notes on like who you're going to call when you need help,
like
uh,
sponsors.
those type of things, how you're
Yeah,
not going to, you're going to go get your mental health taken care of rather than relying on marijuana to provide your anti-anxiety meds. I
they
mean,
got
those
this
type
thing called Donta. I was I'm supposed to be going to once I'm released
uh-huh,
to talk to some psychiatrists
uh-huh.
on my mental health, and that's something I'm looking into because I ain't gonna lie, like if I can vent to somebody about my problems without them trying to criticize me about how I'm thinking or how I'm feeling at the time, I think it'll help me more to talk about it and let it out than hold it all in and and just explode at the wrong times.
So you would think that continuing with your mental health care, you're on medications right now, right? What meds you taking?
I was on medications like in the past, but I didn't feel like it helped.
Hmm. Were you on medication the last time you were out in the community on parole?
No, I didn't. I didn't never. They didn't never put me on any medications or nothing like that.
Okay. You think that could have helped you if you had been on medications at that time? So why
No,
would you not be taking medications at this time if you think it can help you?
I just never considered it.
All
I
right.
don't like how it make me feel in her.
Right. Well, if we were to release you on parole, which I'm not sure what's going to happen, I can guarantee you there would be an order that you participate in mental health counseling, which would constitute you taking the medications if they deem them necessary for you. Is that something you can do?
Yes, sir.
All right. Looking back, you had a prior assault when you were even younger, assault in the first degree when you were even younger than the current charge for which you're incarcerated on. What happened in that
I
event?
got into a fight at school.
How bad that get? Because usually fights at school don't go to juvie court for assault in the first.
Uh, me and another student was fighting, and the teacher tried to break it up, and we actually both hit him as he's trying to like keep us separated, and they charged us with it, but they just made me do like anger management and made me go to 7 counties for counseling.
Yeah, your anger management is of a big concern. I know you've taken anger management and completed it. What did you learn in that program to help you?
Violence is not always the way to go. Like you can talk to people. You don't actually gotta have physical force. You don't always gotta use force to get your point across. Like you can if if two grown ups can't come to a certain agreement, they don't need to be even talking. They just need to separate themselves until one another calms down. Like violence is not the key to go to get to the problem or the solution. Like
Right. Does your mental health have problems with you making that good decision? What's your diagnosis?
what do you mean by that?
When people talk to you about your mental health and the concerns they have for you living a happy life without being overwhelmed by mental health problems, what do they say? Do you have PTSD? Do you have schizophrenia? Do you have depressions, anxieties? What do you think they say are your issues with mental health?
They said I got PTSD real bad, and I got real bad depression.
What brought on the PTSD? Do you think any incident or that
Living in Chicago,
so
that
living in Chicago caused it? I mean, usually it's more than just
just
living in
violence,
Chicago.
gang violence, seeing people like I see my best friend get killed right in front of my eyes. So like,
Okay. All right. Yeah, that'd be hard. You think that's had a negative effect on you?
yeah, after you see it so many times, it's just like, when is it gonna stop?
Right. Did you ever talk to anyone in there about going through MRT trauma? You've completed it back in 23. I'm sorry for that. I was looking at a wrong screen. So you completed trauma. Was that helpful for you?
Yeah, help me like, cause they let us vent in there. So all the trauma we went through in our life and our past, it kind of helps you to a certain extent, to where like the people you in there with, you build relationships with, and y'all just opening up to each other.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I'm asking you all these questions because I got to consider whether you can get back out in the community and be a good person. But
Yes,
I
I
don't
can.
have to worry about you gang banging or shooting people
That's
or
my past though.
absolutely. And your past is oftentimes indicative of your future. And what we're hoping for and what the issue is, we try to hope that the rehabilitative efforts while you're in custody give you the opportunity to come back out here and not have to go through that same type of action. So tell me how encouraged I should be that you're going to get out here and not be in trouble. Tell me what it
I,
is that I should trust.
I'm not getting no younger. I'm getting older. So I'm
Okay.
saying at the end of the day, I don't got no more time left in me. I really don't. I'm tired of doing time. Uh, honestly, I'm tr- I want to be free. I don't got time to keep coming back in here, dealing with this, dealing with the law, looking over my shoulder from who wonder if somebody won't kill me or anything. Like, I know I can go out there and change. Like, I know I can live a regular life. I done got finessed out of my life since I was a teenager. At some time point, some got to give. Like, this can't be the norm. This ain't
Yeah.
living.
Mr. Murdock, we've had discussions in recent days, maybe with a 52-year-old person was talking about how he was young when he did all his stuff, and he was referring to him being 46. So it's not whether you grow up in age, it's whether you grow up in maturity and ability to sustain a positive lifestyle. And that's the programs that have been offered to you to help you with that. I've got to feel comfortable that you can get back into our community without being a risk to other people. All right, sir? All right. I don't have any further questions of you other than ask you where you would go, what you would do if you were to be released.
Say it again.
Where would you go? Where would you live? What kind of job would you hold? Who your support systems are if you are granted the privilege of parole?
I was gonna go back home because they said I couldn't go back to my wife. So I'm going back to Chicago with my dad for a little while until we get this situation done with, and I'm gonna just come back to Kentucky with my wife and my children.
Where do they live?
My wife and my children in Campbellsville, Kentucky,
All right.
Taylor County.
All right. And then what kind of job are you going to have? You requested to be transferred to Chicago, is that right?
Yes, sir. I really want to go work on the barge, on the boat.
In Chicago?
Nah, it's in Paducah, but like you
So
work on.
I would strongly suggest to you that most parole officers are not going to cut you loose on a barge. If you've got a marijuana pass revocation, they're going to want you where they can drug test you periodically. They're going to want you to complete programming related to your substance abuse, and they're going to want to be able to knock on your door and find you when they want to find you. So you might want to come up with a different alternative at this point. Do you have a different job awaiting you somewhere, sir?
My old job, in Lebanon, Kentucky. It's called Alu Trim. It's a factory job. It's
Okay.
like 20 minutes away from Taylor County.
So are you going to Taylor County or are you going to Chicago? I'm confused now.
I'm going to Chicago, but like once I get there, I'm gonna try to get a switch back to Kentucky.
So why are you wanting to switch back? Why aren't you going to Taylor County at
Cause
this?
they said I couldn't go there
Why?
due to this case that I'm going through right now.
Okay. All right. I don't have any further questions of you at this time. Ms. Fields, you have anything, ma'am?
I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Helbig, sir, anything?
No, I don't have any questions. Mr. Murdock, if they're not going to let you go to Taylor County now, it's not likely they're going to let you come to Taylor County later. So, I mean, you need to have a different plan just in case. Big country, a lot of places you can go. Right?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's all I had. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Murdock, anything you want to impress on us or talk to us about before we take a break and deliberate on this matter?
Saying I'm a little nervous, and I'm pretty sure y'all can see that. But I got my whole life ahead of me, and I just don't want y'all to, shut me down before, and close the door on me. I just want to get back and get back and being free. Like I can't keep doing this.
No, I think the people on this board right now would prefer that you be out of custody. The problem is when you're out of custody, you continue to do things that bring you back to custody. So we have to ensure that you're of the mindset and ability to make decisions to stay out of custody. I don't want to pay for you being in custody. I'd much rather you be out here taking care of your kids and your wife and things of that nature. But the reason you were returned is because you couldn't follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, then you're putting yourself back in a situation we can't trust you back in the community. Does that make sense? So
It's understandable, and I'm doing everything that I need to do so I can get back to him.
okay, understood. We're going to take a break. We'll be back to see you just in a little bit. Okay, if you sit tight, we'll give our response to you in a couple minutes. Okay, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Recording stopped.
So how do you guys feel?
Did you think you were going to be filed?
Miss Party told me, she said I was supposed to be she said I was filed reviewed. Then I got something in the mail saying that I was going up face to face.
Yeah, that was me. I said it.
All right. They're coming in. And the final answer
Recording
is...
in progress.
Back on record with Deshaun Murdock, 293007 is his DOC number. Mr. Murdock, can you still see, hear, and understand me clearly, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Murdock, we deliberated on this matter. There's a lot of concerns. Your violent activities are very concerning to us, sir. However, we are going to give you the opportunity for parole here, sir. We're going to reinstate your parole. It's going to be to the hold, which you have to overcome that. I mean, there's some serious charges there as well. So you're going to be paroled to the hold, but it's going to be upon the completion of the SAP program, and your parole eligibility date's not even until March. So you got time to complete SAP before your eligibility date. There won't be any alcohol programs, anything that the Department of Probation and Parole tells you to do, you need to do it. It's just like us telling you to do it. If they ask you to do any programs, do the same. Again, this is upon completion, and you'll follow through with any aftercare programs related to substance abuse. Well, also, once you work on your GED and your literacy while you're on supervision, if you get your GED while you're in custody, it's even better. Must complete a mental health assessment in the community and follow all the recommendations. I think that's critical for you, is that you get your mental health right, man. Talk to your PO as if you're looking for help, not as you're thinking he's out to get you. So that is it, man. Stay off the weed. I think that's what brought you back, but I think maybe they had other worries with that new charge against you. So any questions, sir?
I appreciate y'all.
Good luck to you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Good luck.
Recording stopped.
Mr. Bell, are you there for a second?